Hey guys, it's Dave. Welcome back. We're in Stagecast working on a game called Framed Squared, and we're making some pretty good progress. Last episode, we were toying around with creating a way to win and a way to lose the game. Well, the win can only be accomplished when your frame makes it to this position. But losing can happen in a couple of ways. We've already taken care of the possibility that something makes its way into one of these corners. But there is another way you could lose. In this version, we've got a time. If this timer gets to 0, you've also lost the game. All right, so before we start that, let's come back over to our frames rules. I'm going to put the did we win. Where's my did we lose? Oh, that was in, no, that should have been in here too. Decrease, 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 cheated. Oh, did we lose? Here it is. Okay, so you know what? I'm just going to move this down to here. Okay, I always like to have this constants first. I mentioned that earlier. But if we hop down to did we lose for a second, let's open up one of these. On the action side, really only two things happened. Make me the red frame and set this status variable to lost. All right, well, if this timer goes down to 0, we should do the same two things. All right, so I'm going to grab this and I am going to say out of time. And we're going to come over to this side and we're going to do a couple things. I don't care what's in there with me. All right. I have to be the black frame. Then I'm going to come over to timer. And I'm going to say, is the timer, actually we're going to, just in case it's running fast, we're going to say, is the timer less than 1? So just in case it gets down to like a -1 or a -2 and it doesn't catch it. All right. We are going to do a couple of things. We're going to turn it to red. And we're going to set status to lost. Okay. All right. We'll hit done. I'll hit backwards. We'll put it back up here. I'll save it. All right. Now let's run a test. Let's set this to 10. We'll hit play. Okay. And it's going down. So we'll just try moving. And I'm not even going to stare at the time. I'm just going to try concentrating on the moving. Ah, look at that. You see? We lost. All right. We'll hit stop. That was great. All right. I'm going to change it back to black. We'll put it back up here. We'll give us our timer back. Well, I was giving it some thought, and there should be another way to lose. We're giving the players a goal. You should be able to solve the puzzle in this many moves, but you may take more than that many to solve. But you shouldn't take too many more. So what I'm thinking is that we could say, if moves gets to be, let's say, 3 times the goal, you've lost the game. All right? So what I'm going to do is put the frame back, and this time we're going to need to do some math. So we're going to go in here and we're going to say too many moves. And again, left hand side. I don't care about anything. Okay. You have to be the black guy. All right. But then we've got another thing. We're going to come over here to moves. Let's see, how do we want to do this? We want to say this guy. Okay. And we are going to say greater than. And I want to say if moves, all right, if moves is greater than, and then we've got to do a little bit of math. There's a calculator up here. I'm going to bring that out. And I'm going to open up this little tab. This is the ticker in the calculator. And here's what I want to do. I'm going to come down here and I want to get the goal. And I want to drop the goal in the display of the calculator. That enters the 12 into the calculator's memory. Then I want to take that number and multiply it, see there, by 3. And then hit equals. And then you've got this little box. Now I can give this little box a name. Okay? Too many. All right? I can also give the calculation. All right? 3 times the goal. And I'll hit enter. All right, I want to take this calculation and put it in the rule. What's nice is that as we get different levels, the goal is going to change. So this calculation will always take whatever value happens to be in the global variable for goal, multiply it by 3, and get the appropriate value. Okay? Now, when I first started playing around with this calculator, I thought you could take this variable and drag it and do what you needed to do. It doesn't work that way. What you're actually doing is taking the result of all of this. You can drag these things around when you're doing longer computations, but that's really all you're doing. I give it a good name here because you're going to point right here and drag that whole thing. And do you see how the little box lights up black when I put my finger on it? And see there? So if moves is greater than 3 times the goal, then you're going red and you've lost. Okay? All right, we're going back to black. We're going to playing. And everything else looks good. So 12 and 12 is 24. Let's say 30. Okay, we'll hit start. So we're at 30 moves. We should be able to take a few more moves. There it is. 37. Okay, is that right? 37 moves. 12 and 12 is 24. 24 and 12 is 36. And 37 is greater than 36, and we've lost the game. Okay? Now the last piece is to tell the user, like they might get confused, like what the heck, why did I just lose the game? We might want to say, well, you lost the game because you ran out of time, or you lost the game because you did too many moves, or you lost the game because you got blocked, you see? So we've got space up here. And I see another rule coming on. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to set stuff back the way we want it. I'm going to say 0, timer back to 1,000. Okay. All right, I'll hit play to reset some of the other variables. Say the 1 and the 13. Okay, I'll save it. All right, let's come back over here first though. It says, did we lose? I'm going to say end game or end level rules. This way they could be, did you lose or did you win? Okay, so they're all in here. All right. Okay. Let's see, what were we just going to do? We want to say you lost the game a certain way or you won the game. The other thing we would like it to do is say if you lost the game, you got to press R to reset. If you won the game, there should be a button that they could click up here that would take them to the next level. All right. Well, before we do that, let's talk about levels. All right. This is going to be a really neat game. But if all it is one screen that they got to figure out how they have to get through and solve, that's not going to be very fun. All right. We would like it to have a bunch of levels that they have to work their way through. All right. Well, in order for that to happen, guess what? We need another variable. So we're going to have a level variable, and we'll set it to 1. Okay, and I'm going to slot this right in here. All right, let's take a look at doing something we've done before. We will say clone one of these guys. We'll come up here. We'll say new. We're going to call this level. We will clear it out. We will zip out a little bit. Let's see if that's going to be enough. I forgot what our font size was for that word. Was it 12? Yeah, I think it was. All right, let's see if we can fit this. Oh yeah, this will work perfect. Good. We'll grab level. And remember what we're doing. We've got this bright cyan, bold, and I believe it was 18 we've been using. All right, let's see. How come this guy's not doing it? Level. And let's put it up here so we can see. Okay, this is good. This is good. Now, looks like we got to move up a little bit. Yeah, there it is, level 1. Okay. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, let's do this. You're on level 1. The goal is 12. You've made that many moves. I'm wondering if moves needs to have that much room. I'm going to leave it because some of the levels we make might have a lot of moves needed, and you might need all that space. And then I'll leave that there. Okay? All right. So there we go. So now we got a level. So when you win the game, you're going to go to the next level. It'll add 1 to level, take you to that level, and it'll automatically update. All right? All right, so now let's talk about losing. And we could do that in a couple of ways. I am going to do what we just did. I just want to make one of these. And we are going back into this info character. And you can see, wow, we are taking quite advantage of this character. All right. I'm actually going to make this wider this time because we're going to need some room up here. I'll say new. And this one is going to be framed. This is when you lose because you got one of these guys caught in your middle. Okay. And I want to zip out. And this time I'm just going to kind of make it. Actually, if we do, let's go here. I'll clear this out. We want to do a couple things. Why don't we say let's see, would red show up there? How about dark blue? We'll try a dark blue and see if that looks good. And I think we're in size 12. So I'm going to drop down to a size 9 for a second. And we're going to say, nope, let's try size 9, but let's also say bold. Okay, you were framed. All right, that looks pretty good. And actually, I think we could do this. Yeah, we could do this in 4. So I'm going to move this up. I'm going to reposition this back here, and I should be able to come into 4. There we go. Now, I wonder if we could make this, all right, a little bit bigger. Let's try 10, and I am in bold. All right, so let's go back to A, and let's just see if this works. You were framed. All right, and you know what? Yeah, I'm going even higher. Let's go back to 12. I want to have room for a second line of text, but so far, you were framed. Yeah, that fits. Good. And we will center this right up here. Okay. And then we're going to use that bright yellow, and we're going to say press R to reset. And we'll give them a little bit of help that way. All right, so that way they're not wondering, okay, so I was framed, now what? You see that? Okay, so now we'll take this and see what it looks like. And this guy looks like it's there, so if we take this guy, we could put it here. You were framed! Press R to reset. All right, so there's one of them. Now, to save us some time, I'm going to copy this guy, and I'm going to say out of time. And all we have to do here, and I'm going to use the solid transparent color to wipe this line of text away. We'll go to our blue. We're in size 12, okay. Let's try it. This one is going to say, let's see if we can do it a little more wordier. You're out of time. Yeah, that'll work. And then we can plop that right in. Okay, so now we could say, no, actually, you're out of time. And then the last one, we're just going to say, too many moves. And again, I'll use transparent, back to blue, and we're going to say I think this is going to be too wordy. You made, yeah. All right, let's do the same thing we did. Too many moves. All right, that should be good. All right, now as I'm finishing these, I'm just looking at the blue, and I'm wondering if the blue is going to be bright enough to see. And I think it is. Let's see. Too many moves. No, I think it is. I think we're good. All right. And then while we're in here, this tells them what they got to do. All right. So you lost somehow, and you got to press R, and that's how you do it. Okay. The last one I want to do is going to be a button that says, you know, success or congratulations or level solved or something like that. But they should click it to go to the next level. So I want to see what we could do there. I want to make it look like a button that sits up on this bar. And I think I want to do a shadow. So I think I'm going to start with a black box. Now I do want to see some of the purple. So what I want to try to do is maybe start there. Yeah. And I'll say about that, okay? Then the color of the button should be green, I think, because green is the color of success. So I want to try to make sure I start right in that same corner again. And then come on over, and I want to keep this hanging for the shadow. All right, and I think I might want to make it a slightly thicker shadow. Okay, and then I'm going to zoom way in, and I need to knock a little bit of this off. So I'm going to come into the smallest little eraser we have, and then maybe chop 3 off on that side, and then from over here, maybe 3 off from this side. And then if I go back out, yeah, see, that looks a lot better. All right, then we can say, what should we say? Great job. Level solved. How should we say it? Congratulations. How about that? That might work. What are we doing here? Size 12 bold. How about size 12 bold italic? Let's see what that looks like. And we'll do it all in capitals. I think I'm going to have to go backwards if we're going to do this. Congratulations is a long word. Let's try that. Congratulations. Ooh, wow. Wow. All right, let's try. What's our size? All right, let's try 10. Let's see how 10 looks. Congratulations! Exclamation point. All right, that's not too bad. We're in bold, but we're also in italics, so that tends to kind of make it look not quite as bold. And I want this to go not super high. Oh, that's not too bad. All right, that's not too bad. Let's give it a shot here. Yeah, and we're going to call this solved. Okay. So congratulations, and then we want to put a line in there for click for next level or something like that. And this time around, I just want to say bold. Say click for next level. Click to next level. How about that? Click to next level. ... How about that? That should be self-explanatory, I think. All right, and we'll try that. I think that red is readable, don't you? Let's see. Yeah. All right. So now we've got 3 ways to say they've lost, 1 way to say they win. The 3 ways that say they lost, we'll tell them that they need to press R to reset the game. And congratulations means they need to get out their mouse and click on that. Okay. All right, so we've got about 7 more minutes left. So why don't we see if we can't program these, and I'm going to pull it down here, to display the correct piece. Now, this is going to be one of those ones where I think this is, yeah, so it's going to be right here. It's going to look like this. So it's actually slotted right in here. Okay. So while you're playing the game, it's going to look like that, and you're not going to see anything, right? But when it needs to, just like we did over here with cheated, it's going to display the message. All right. So what I need to do here is I'm going to come down here, and we're just going to say do not care, so that when we put it on top of the other one, it won't be a problem. So let's do, how can we do this? I want to say, how did we lose? Okay. I'm going to cancel that for a second. We can check if they lost because the number of moves was too high using a variable. We can check if they lost because they ran out of time by looking at a variable. We can't check if they lost when one of these things happens by checking a variable. So we're going to try, we're going to see if this works. We're going to try something in the way Stagecast operates its rules to see if we can catch all the possibilities. All right, so we'll take the first 2. So let's see. I want to get out of the editor. This is going to go back to here. Well, first of all, we'll make this rule. Okay, so if you haven't lost, you should look like that. Okay, so we're going to say still playing. And over on the left, we're going to say, I don't care what else is in there, because remember, it's going to be sitting on top of another one. I want to get rid of this. All right, I don't care what it looks like. All right, I do care about the status variable. So if status says playing, then we want it to look like this. So I need to open up its variables, drag the appearance down here. Okay, so as long as it's set to playing, it'll look like the purple box. All right, and I think I'm going to get rid of this guy, and I'm going to double click this guy. Okay, so still playing. All right, let's do the next one. This time we'll check for time. Okay. Out of time. We'll go back here. Again, we'll say, I don't care what you look like. I don't care what else is in the square with you. I do care about this timer. And we'll do the same thing we did earlier. Is it less than 1? Okay. If it is, you're going to say, you just ran out of time. See that? Okay. That's all it's got to do is show it. All right. Okay, I'll hit backwards. All right, so now out of time is done. Now we'll do the moves. Okay. Too many moves. Come to the left. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what else is in the box with you. And now this time, let's see if we can do this. I'm going to grab moves and I'm going to come over here. If moves is greater than, you got to hop out that calculator again. Do you remember how we did this? Grab goal, drop it in the window. Multiply it by 3. This will be too many. You don't have to give it a name. I just like to. All right, over here, 3 times goal. I do like to give this a name. And again, you can't drag this while you're entering. So hit enter to finish the edit. Then drag it and drop it. All right, because you're going to see it in the rules, so I like to give it a name there. So if the moves are greater than 3 times the goal, then too many moves. Okay, hit done. All right. All right, now I'll hit backwards. Now we have this scenario. How are we going to handle that? Well, let's try. Rule tool. Framed. Come to the left. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what else is in there with you. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring out status. And I'm going to say, is status lost? Okay, now stick with me here. All right. If it is, you were framed. Okay. See what's going on? All right, now here's what's going on. All right. Look at the rules. Remember the way that Stagecast works. It's going to start at the first rule and find the first rule it knows how to do, and it's going to do it. You see that? All right. What I want to do is grab the 2 possibilities that could outrank this one. Did you run out of time? Did you do too many moves? You see? So of the 3 ways you could lose the game, it'll check for this one. If you ran out of time, it shows it. Nothing else gets executed. All right? If you ran out of moves, it shows it. Nothing else gets executed. If you didn't run out of time and you didn't run out of moves, but status was set to lost, which it was with these 2 as well, it must have been because you were framed. You see how that works? All right. Still playing, I'm going to put at the very top of the list. Okay. And then the last rule we do, which talks about did you win the game, we will put at the very top of the list as well. Okay. Cheated can stay at the bottom. You can't cheat if the game is over. Okay. Well, actually, okay. How about this? Cheated, no cheat. No, I'm going to keep it like that. We're going to run some testing and find out what happens there. All right. We're almost out of time, but I do want to make the one last rule that's going to see if you won. So let's do that. Rule tool on this character. Okay. Did we win? And again, you've seen me do this. I I don't care what's in the box with you. I don't care what you look like. If status is win, and I'm going to have to double check if I use the capital W or not, then congratulations. Okay. All right. Done. All right. I'm going to take this back to the purple. I'm going to place it where it actually needs to go. I want to come into the end level rules and just check and see. Nope, lowercase w. The case does matter, so we got to make sure that we use the right case. So it's lowercase w-i-n. Okay. All right. Let's see. 0 moves hard. I did not cheat. Your goal is there. Timer's fine for now. Level's 1. Okay, so I'm gonna stop, save that, and we are over. We are over by a minute or two. So let's just see how we do. Okay. If I lose, so this time it should be framed. Let's just check that that works. Okay. All right. Look at this. It sort of worked. I'm going to hit stop. And we're just going to grab one of these and see what it says. Yes, you were framed. All right, let's go back to reset. All right, did you see why it did what it did? Because the one thing we forgot to do was to make sure that it was this particular square. All right, now do you remember how we did that when we did cheated? Cheated is over here. I'm going to have to look at that one. I'm going to open this up. We need to call this something. I'll say end game. And then all these rules in here, we need to put a check. Is your name end game? If it's not, don't display the message. So that was framed. Too many moves. Is your name end game? Okay, again, you can call it whatever you want to call it. I just tried to be kind of precise. End game. And I do want to point out one more thing. This was out of time. Okay, still playing. When you're doing it this way, if it needs to be on the left side, don't drag this in, because that actually puts it over here on, like don't type in something here and hit enter, because that actually puts it over here. Okay, we have to actually drag it and then type it. All right, end game. And I think there was one more, right? Still playing, and then did we win? Edit and end game. Come on, end game. All right, good. We will save all that. We will slide that up. Double check that everything looks like it's playable. We'll do a save. We'll play it. Doot, 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 doot. Let's see if we can get framed. Bang. All right, now look, I shouldn't be able to move, right? I can't move. The timer stopped. Everything else stopped. You were framed. I hit R. Try it again. All right, this time I'll hit stop. Let's give it a timer of 5. And I'll just move out here, and let's see what happens when we run out of time. You're out of time. All right, what else? Hit stop. What did we say this was? 30. Let's say 34. Okay, should be just enough to move a couple times. 35. Oh, I'm sorry. I did that wrong. Stop. Reset. We wanted moves to be 34. Okay, so 35 should be fine. 36 should be fine. Move one more time. Bang. Too many moves. All right. And then the last test, we'll do an R. The last test, and again, this is a real easy level because we're just toying around. All right. We're going to see if we won. Bang. Got the green. Timer stopped. There's the congratulations. Okay. All right. I think for next episode, we're almost ready. No. I was going to say we're almost ready to start making an actual level. But I think, remember that last variable I said I wanted to toss in? I think we'll devote the entire next episode to a new feature, okay, which will also make it a little harder to play this game, but we'll see how it is. All right. So until next time, this is Dave. We're in Stagecast working on Framed Squared, and we're making some pretty good progress. All right. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.